Ever heard the saying that we only use 10% of our brains? Sounds intriguing, right? A hidden reserve of mental power just waiting to be unlocked. But is there any truth to it? The notion that we're only tapping into a small fraction of our brain's potential is a popular one, permeating books, films, and even motivational speeches. But where did this 10% brain myth originate? It's a fascinating tale, so let's dive into its history. The origin of this myth dates back to the early 1900s. During this time, a psychologist by the name of William James asserted that humans only utilize a fraction of their mental resources. Interestingly, James never assigned a specific percentage to this claim, yet the 10% figure has somehow stuck around. Now let's take a detour into the world of pop culture. Movies, specifically those leaning towards science fiction, have played a significant role in perpetuating this myth. Take the movie Lucy, for instance. In this film, the protagonist manages to unlock her brain's full potential, transforming into a superhuman. This portrayal, while entertaining, reinforces the myth that we're only using a small portion of our brain's capacity. This myth, as you can imagine, has a certain allure. It suggests that we all possess a hidden reservoir of untapped potential, waiting to be released. The idea that we could achieve anything if we could just access this dormant 90% is very appealing, isn't it? But don't let this allure fool you. The brain is a complex, busy organ, and it's working a lot harder than this myth gives it credit for. But are there any scientific facts supporting this myth? Let's find out. Contrary to the myth, science has proven that we use more than just 10% of our brains. Now you might be wondering, how exactly did scientists debunk this myth? The answer lies in the marvels of modern technology and the insights it provides into our brain activity. One powerful tool in this regard is the functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI. This non-invasive technique measures and maps brain activity by detecting changes associated with blood flow. This method allows researchers to observe which parts of the brain are active at any given moment. When they look at fMRI scans of people at rest, lo and behold, the entire brain lights up, not just a measly 10%. This clearly demonstrates that we utilize our entire brains, not just a small fraction of it. Furthermore, let's consider the implications of brain injuries and strokes. If we were truly only using a tenth of our brains, then damage to a large part of our brains should theoretically have little to no effect, right? But that's far from what we observe. In reality, even minor strokes or injuries can lead to significant impairments, affecting speech, movement, memory, and more. This further underscores the fact that every part of our brain has a role to play in our overall functioning. So, if the 10% myth isn't accurate, you might be asking, what's happening with the rest of our brains? That's a fantastic question. The truth is, we're not entirely sure. We know that the brain is constantly buzzing with activity, involved in a myriad of tasks, many of which we're not even consciously aware of. Our brains regulate our bodily functions, process sensory information, and are responsible for our higher-level cognitive functions. It's a ceaseless hive of activity, and we're still learning new things about how it works all the time. So the next time you hear someone spouting the 10% brain myth, you can confidently debunk it. We use our entire brains, not just a small fraction. And who knows, the more we learn about the brain, the more fascinating and complex it becomes. So, if we're using more than 10% of our brains, what's happening with the rest of it? While we might not know exactly how we use all of our brain, we know it's involved in a lot more than we might think. The brain, this marvelous 3-pound organ, is like the grandmaster of the body, directing a symphony of functions that we often take for granted. Imagine the brain as the busiest traffic control center, handling everything from regulating your heartbeat to helping you enjoy a delicious slice of pizza. That's right, even when you're indulging in your favorite food, your brain is hard at work, processing the sensory information of taste, smell, and texture. Additionally, the brain is the engine behind our thoughts, our dreams, our memories. It's always on the clock, managing complex cognitive functions like problem-solving and planning. Ever wondered who's the architect of those brilliant ideas or the strategist for your day-to-day plans? Yes, it's your brain again. But wait, there's more. Even when you're in the realm of dreams, your brain doesn't clock out. It's busy consolidating memories, processing emotions, and even tidying up, clearing out unnecessary information. It's like your personal overnight cleaner, making sure everything is in order for the next day. In a nutshell, our brain is always abuzz with activity, far beyond the alleged 10%. So next time someone tells you we only use 10% of our brains, confidently debunk that myth. Remember, we're utilizing our entire brain and it's nothing short of extraordinary. We've busted the 10% brain myth today, but there are plenty more myths to explore. Remember, we use our entire brains, not just a fraction. Our brains are constantly active, regulating bodily functions, processing sensory information, and performing higher-level cognitive tasks. The idea of untapped potential is appealing, but it's just not scientifically accurate. Enjoyed this video? Give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more myth-busting content. Thanks for watching.